Okay, let's see if I can get started.
Family, friends, and foes. Activate. Yeah. Squash East Side. They black. Chico Band, 6 million. I said if I can, I can everything. Many trust percent. What? Target everything. That traps. One with everything. Overcome. That means I'm one for all. One for the family. For nothing. That's why I can be it all. I said if I transformation time.
Good evening and good morning, good afternoon, Earth families, and welcome to this next press conference of IAPA Charter Ohio de jure Assembly. This is our 5th press conference. Let me show you here. We are on the 5th press conference, and what we're going to be doing here on this 5th press conference is talking. This is our seal, the IAPA Charter Ohio de jure Assembly. You can see the state of Ohio in the midst of it. That symbol is an Ndinka sign, actually, from West Africa, but it represents cooperation, collaboration, and stuff like that. And we include the sun and the earth and the blood of the people in it for those colors. Our motto at the IAPA Charter, of course, the IAPA is an acronym for Indigenous Aboriginal People of America. And our motto is I, which is you and I, am sovereign. We are sovereign beings on the planet Earth. So this is something that we should all have a little bit of gratitude about. And if we don't have gratitude about it, it's because we don't understand what is, who you are, what you are, and what has transpired in the last, 15, 20 years. There have been a lot of changes. We're going to talk about a few of those changes, get into a little bit of it, elaborate about it. But this particular press conference that we're about to host and hold, again, I just want to say that I am the messenger and host of this report of the IAPA Charter Ohio de jure Assembly. My name is Elihu Stanley Xi. So basically, this 5th press conference is going to be held today. Today is the 6th of February, 2022. And it's a public notice to disclose information about Loosh energy. Now, it's real important that we look into this, but we want to look into it as it relates to the multiverse, etherical devices, stargates, and portals, space and time travel, and most importantly, the key integrated monetary system. Now, Loosh is something that a lot of you may or may not have heard anything about, but the reason why we want to talk about it is because Kim, the guardian of the planet, self-described as the guardian of the planet, Earth, talked about Loosh in many of her videos. Now, I'm not going to go to any specific videos, but there are several that she talked about it, alluded to it, and basically, it's real important that we understand it, because we need to understand why it is that we're even working with her, what the reasons are, what this whole thing is about. You know, because we are spiritual beings first. And it's really important that we understand that we are spiritual beings first, not physical, not just carnal, not just animals, but we are spirit traveling in a vehicle, a physical vehicle, a three-dimensional vehicle. And we have, I guess, substance and quality and instrument that goes far beyond the physical into the spiritual and etheric, you know, what we also call the multiverse. We live in a multiverse. We're going to get a little bit into that, but, you know, let me give you, let's go to the Urban Dictionary and see what it says about what Loosh is. So we can start with this. Okay, Loosh is a new term applied to energy produced by human beings that other entities feed from. It is also used to refer to the energy that is produced by suffering that entities feed. From the book by Robert Moreau, maybe a play on the French word louche. Okay, so this is a definition. This is how it's spelled in that definition, Loosh. And again, it's a new term. You can't find it in the older dictionaries, but the Urban Dictionary, you can find it in. It's a new term that really goes into what Loosh is, okay? So let's go here. Probably this is the same term, but this is an ascension glossary. It is applied to energy produced by human beings and animals that other entities feed on. Now, I heard Kim Gogan say that Loosh is one of the most valuable products, commodities that is traded in the multiverse. In other words, there are entities that feed upon it. There are also, because Loosh is an energy, I suppose, like bees produce honey, maybe human beings produce Loosh, but it's an entity that is very valuable to certain entities. Now, those entities that are of low vibration entities, negative energies, like they describe them. We're going to look at a couple areas where, as a matter of fact, let me go to this particular website called Humorous Mathematics. And in Humorous Mathematics, it talks about Loosh, you know, and it says the dark dimensional entities, they feed upon your negative energy, okay? Now let's go into that a little bit, what these dark dimensional entities are. You know, some of them call them the archons, others call them, well, as a matter of fact, let me just read this, and maybe that'll give us a little bit more clarity on it. And then I'll start talking about it a little bit more after that. Ever wonder why you never feel good after watching the nightly news? Aside from being blatantly fake narrative, spun propaganda, it is also intentionally fear-mongering and stressing you out. This is because invisible higher dimensional dark entities, the archons and the Shemara, feed off of those negative energies, emotions that humans are conditioned into giving off. Before we can understand that, what Loosh is, we must first understand what our life force is. So, basically, our life force is the energy that we give off that comes through us from the source creator. Okay, and all of us have something, we call auras, we emit an energy. And some of it's positive and some of it's negative. Obviously, those dark entities feed off of the negative energy, the fear-mongering energy. I can imagine that because if reptilians, who are, to my understanding, cold-blooded creatures, more, ravenous and just without any emotion at all, I suppose that energy would be like, smoking or snorting something that is going to give them an altered state, a state which they could not experience besides that, because human beings, as you know, as a human being, are very emotional. They have very extreme variations in their emotions, from happiness to sadness, and when they're traumatized. And this is what these entities like best, I think, is the emotion of fear and all that high adrenaline releasing energy that they can get something out of it. So if these entities do not have emotions, do not have feelings, then it's kind of probably like an intoxicant. So that's one value. And then there's another value that I recently learned about, where this Loosh can be used as a source of energy for special devices. In the case of the chair, which Kim often talks about, that she sits in the chair, the same chair that Solomon sat in and her predecessors sat in, that somehow when she sits in there, because of the unique genetic code that she carries, or the DNA that she carries, she's able to activate this chair, very much like what we see in these, these movies, like, for example, Stargate, SG-1. That was a TV series about the Stargates, and how there are only a few people who had the ancient gene could activate them, because these instruments, these devices, were created millions and millions of years ago, according to Kim Logan. This chair and the Stargates, they have been here as long as the Earth and the planet has been here. She talked about that, I believe, in a couple of videos. I think one on the 25th of January, and another she talked about it, alluded on the 30th of November. But you can go back through all the videos and programs, and you will find different information where she talked about this. What I'm going to do right now, since we're talking about it, is I'm going to go to United Network and just to give you a visual of what I'm talking about in terms of where some of the places you need to go to find this information. Again, I am just a messenger here. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be any guru of any kind. I am a messenger, and I am a seeker of truth just like you and everybody else. And what we want to do is share what we know and investigate what we don't know. And then in addition to that, we want to give our own personal interpretations and commentary on anything like this. Now, on this particular website, you can see this one right here. I think this is the special report, one of the reports I wanted you to take a look at once you get to United Network News channel. You can take a look at this one. This was released on the 25th of January. You can also go down here. They have what they call weekly reports that she gives. I think one of these is one of them. They need to come up, but oh yeah. Okay, and then over here, these two are very good. The global financial system, that's a good one to look into. And this one all here, part 1 and part 2. Those are very good ones to look into. But the one I wanted you to also look at was this one, which is on November 30th, because this is where she talks about the stargates. And all these things are powered by this Loosh energies. This Loosh energy can power stargates and so forth and so on. And I did a video. As a matter of fact, it was the second video in this series of press conferences that I did that really got into how my Loosh has been being used, and my channel has been used by these dark agents of darkness, and such as the Secret Space Force and NSA, agents of darkness. These demons, were using my energy to power up certain things without my permission and without my consent, permission, or even knowledge, because I didn't have the knowledge of what they were doing, and I still don't have the knowledge I need, to stop what they're doing, because basically they're still out there. I know that Kim is doing a great job with what she is doing and having to do that, but when you have billions of people on this planet, which means there are billions of nodes, billions of life force signatures, one person in one chair, however great they are, I'm not sure if they can, absorb all that, especially when you have a physical body and you need rest. There's a certain amount of energy that your body needs, there's a certain amount of maintenance that it needs. You can't focus and concentrate everything on all these billions of things. So to that extent, we have to kind of be, understanding, of who she is and what she has to deal with and what she has to go through. And we also have to be empathetic and sympathetic enough, as well as sovereign enough to take our part and our role in this whole responsibility of creating a better planet for us all, a better situation for us all. So let me go back to this website again. This is the website called Humorous Mathematics. And it talks about Loosh and how do we stop these dark energies from feeding. You know, what it says here is your life force is the essence of who you are, and your life energy and your soul, your spirit, eternal, underline your connection to the source and your connection to all that is. The life force is yours to give if you choose. It cannot be truly taken from you, but you can be tricked into giving it away. And this is very true. I know that for a fact, that nothing can be taken from you. You have to either through your own permission or through your lack of knowledge, you know, give it away through some kind of trick or some kind of rules that they use. And some of the rules is that the deep state has been using has been things like predictive programming through movies and music and all kinds of other things that kind of condition your mind to accept the ideal that these entities have the power to do these things. Very often when you hear people talk about Loosh or talk about reptilians and all that, you're actually hearing all this information from demons, people who are the light workers, the bearers of light, those who are warriors fighting against them. They don't really talk that much about them, and they certainly don't give them all the credit that some of these other people give them. Like, oh, like the reptilians, they rule the world and they've been doing this for thousands. That's all a lie from the father of lies, okay? You know, they ain't been ruling anything. Here again, like I said, you cannot, you know, no one can take this from you, you know, but you can be tricked into giving it away. In other words, you know, not even the devil itself, whatever it is, male, female, you know, hermaphrodite, or whatever you want to think it is, call it is. Creatures of darkness are very much like the creatures of darkness that we know about. You know, freaks come out at night, you know, you turn on the light and all the roaches scatter. You know, basically what I'm kind of getting at is these are not superior entities. These are not superior beings. These are beings that have to reside in darkness, because if they don't reside in the darkness, they come out in the light, they won't live very long, you see. And then they are the few, you know, they're a very small percentage. So just like in those movies, like I was talking about, like Stargate, SG-1, they talk about, they have a worm that sits on top of a person's spine and gets into their brain and controls them through their third eye and so forth. Well, these are nothing but worms, but then you will hear them say all kinds of things like they're gods, and you know, they're superior and this and that. Anytime you hear entities or demons who walk this planet, you can always tell they're lower energy beings, because they always got this whole vision of grandeur. They talk about themselves as if they're invincible. They are the greatest thing that this planet has ever existed on and ever heard. They always talking dualisms, you know. They're the good guys and the other ones are the bad ones. You know, all this divide and conquer consciousness, always trying to put over on you some kind of impression that either you cannot think without them, you cannot act without them, or you cannot rise without them, because they are the greatest thing that ever happened since chicken soup. You see, any elitist type of philosophy that argues those points, you know, first of all, it's a lie. You know, there's harmony and balance in nature. You know, the creator didn't create just one kind of anything, one kind of bird with one color, one kind of flower, one kind of this, one kind of that. There's diversity and beauty, not a whole monotonous type of stormtrooper type of mentality where you all marching and stuff like robots. And, you know, they want to, as this world, they're trying to create this whole transhumanist world where either everybody's dying or all the resources are gone, and we're in the what they call the war games, where now we have to compete against one another, you know, for survival. You know, when the earth is abundant and full, you can take and grow food within 24 hours, 48 hours. If it's just, you know, microgreens, you know, you can eat and feed off of these things. There's an abundance of fruit and plants and all these things that are here for us to partake of. So anything that is offering you a vision of scarcity or a vision of, you know, want or lack or fear, you know, of course, these are lower vibrational energies and entities who need that because they are lower vibrational. You're talking to roaches, you know, you're talking to rodents who are trying to prove and to convince you that you're less than them. So you can or can't, you don't have to accept it. And this is what we're talking about here. If you choose to acknowledge your divinity and express your life force as a co-creator with the source, as it is reflected back to you as love and oneness and the celebration of unity and life, if you allow it to siphon away and use to energize and empower the dark forces, it is lost to you and you're going to be left with nothing. So this is what's been going on. You know, these entities have created a world that make them look good. They created all these tall towers and they sit in these high towers looking down upon everyone else. And we're looking up at them and starting believing that they have power that they don't have. Okay. So the dark cannot create, it can only destroy. You see, the dark manipulates you to become their energy source to compensate for the living energy they cannot access, also known as Looshing. So here again, we're talking about the Loosh. They can only access the life force energy through you, you see? So what I need to understand is that you are the source, you are the power, you are the one who is connected to the life force and the life energy. You are the sovereign being on this planet. And unless you allow it, these entities cannot take advantage. They cannot use these things to open up portals to bring other dark entities and viruses and all these other kinds of diseases into our realm unless we allow it, you see? But that's where self-knowledge comes in. That's where our ability to understand what it means to be a sovereign being. Part of being a sovereign being is to being able to protect your realm. You know, because if you are a parent, a sovereign being, as a parent, you have to protect your realm. That means you protect your children, you protect your grandchildren, you protect your husband, you protect your wife, you protect the people in your neighborhood. This is what this whole purpose is all about. This is why we should all be, have some thanks, give thanks, and have some gratitude when we see that there's one who came from amongst them, who rose up from amongst them, who they selected to take over the next phase of their, what do you call it, plot. She was female. They needed female because we're moving into the age where it's a feminine age. And so they needed her. And she decided, hey, well, I am the one who has been selected, but I can't go along with that plan because that plan is about genocide. That plan is about taking the life of human beings and killing and destroying the earth. And guess what? The earth is abundant, it's full of life, full of beautiful things. Guess what? I am here to guard it. This is what Kim Gogan said. So we have to appreciate that about her, okay? And it's not about a person. You need to understand that. It's not about one individual, but it's about us as a whole, what do you call it, organism, a planetary organism where there's life and abundance and what we call harmony, mayat, you know what I mean? Where you got there's a symbiotic relationship between one and one. No one is going to be absolute, but you don't have to be, because each one of us have our own eye, spiritual eye, and we can see the world from our own perspective. That's what the Creator gives us. Now, if you're unhappy in the space that you're currently in, the world is big enough for you to move. So this is why we need these assemblies, so that we can strike down these laws that have been put up by the corporate demonic forces of darkness, the archonic and chimeras that have put these things in our way to restrict our movement. We have to strike down all these laws and allow human beings to travel freely and to move about in ways that allow us all to see as much as we can see and learn as much as we can learn and experience as much as we can experience without destroying ourselves or other people in the process. Now, if you think that you want to travel around the world and bomb everybody else, kill everybody else, and take all their stuff, then, that's not what this is all about. So we have to go into this thing with a sound mind that is balanced up enough to understand that there are good things in this world. If you go into the wilderness, you'll see beauty. I guarantee it. You're not going to see things that are not beautiful. Of course, there's going to be struggle, but guess what? Much of the struggle that has occurred has begun to occur in the last 100 years or since, the cabal has really taken over. They would like to claim that they've been here for 16, 17,000 years. I kind of like, me, myself personally, I don't like to give any demon that much credit because they don't deserve it. But, this is what they're all claiming. Like I said, this is what you see, especially when you see some of them describing things and doing their own little personal takes on their narratives and their documentaries. They always kind of put themselves in a space to where they have somehow did it all, wrote out everything, when we know for a fact that all they have been doing is trying to destroy all the records of humanity since they've been here, going into countries where Aboriginal people have lived, destroying their lands, taking over all their resources, burning all their documents, and then trying to claim afterwards that there was no written, they had no written language. Now, the choice is neither good or bad, but rather a preference, or whether you can have and both can have a profound consequence on your journey of ascension through the densities and dimensions as seen in the life force map. Now, what we want to look at that, we're talking about the multiverse. Okay, we live in a multiverse. Okay, so there are entities that are right here with us on this planet that we might not be able to see or perceive. They could be in the same room with us because they live on a different density, different level. There are multiple levels of densities and dimensions, which are a state of consciousness used to organize different planes of existence according to the vibrational frequency. These planes of existence are neither above nor below, but rather interpenetrating and existing in the same space simultaneously. Technological and spiritual limitations prevent dark forces from ascending to the higher dimensions. And what that's saying there is that, for example, Kim talked about, I think that was on the meeting of the 25th, saying, oh, maybe it was on the 30th of November, where she's saying how the stargates and stuff have been here for millions of years. The chair that she's utilizing to connect with the global repository has been here for millions of years. So subsequently, you have to assume that there were people sitting in those chairs for millions of years also. Okay, so one other thing I just wanted to cover here, you see, because this, you can find this on this website, the Life Force Map, and it gets into more details about the planetary stuff. And then, of course, you've seen this before, you got the different levels of the pyramid, the 13 levels, who rules the pyramids and stuff. This is a great website to check out. I think Kim herself, she kind of shares this information with us too in some of her videos. But this is a great one to look at. Okay, like I said, this website give you a little bit more on this Loosh thing. It's called humorous mathematics. But what I wanted to say here, you know, before I end this, is that when it comes to this energy that we put off, okay, like I said, and I've said this in the previous video, for 34 years, I've been the victim of this kind of resource exploitation, you know, and finding out that, you know, this energy that we have is able to power sensitive etherical devices like orbs and spheres and open portals, and, you know, that will allow us to step through stargates and, you know, backstep in some cases, you know, some kind of time travel, and they have all kinds of possibilities that it was allowing these dark entities to do, to create an illusion that they were gods, or that they were somehow had some sort of mystical, fantastic power that we didn't understand. You know, we need to get a grips on this. We need to understand it. So this thing is to really get us to, you know, help us to say, listen, we need to study this. and know that this, and the main thing to do is not to give away your energy, especially to the negative energies for fear and everything. But I wanted to say that Kim, they talked about Loosh a little bit on one video. I can't remember which one it was right now, but I think her and a couple of women, they had a circle of women, they were talking about energy and stuff like that. I'll look it up, maybe post note to this video if I find it, or a link to it. But all of this is kind of tied to the key integrated monetary system. In other words, she's sitting in a position that needs our energy to be input so that we can receive manifestation, the things that we need out of it. And, Loosh energy is just not, it's just, like you said, it's kind of like human emotions. Love is an emotion too. Love and forgiveness and all these things are emotions. And these are probably more unlimited when it comes to the power that they can emit. So I think this is what she was kind of talking about. So we need to understand what Loosh is if we want to receive, as promised, because I don't think she can give it to us, or any person can give it to us. We must get it for ourselves. And we get it by taking the cosmic net, or the etherical net that we are all part of, this consciousness, this global consciousness, and repairing it and allowing the real righteous flow of good love and love energy to heal ourselves, the world, the plants, and everything else. And with the right person at that point, or in that node, that chair, we can channel that to get and receive what we need to receive. So I don't understand it all. I'm not claiming to understand what I understand. I'm just trying to share. And then, like I said, there's more to all of it. And, leave a comment, on this video if you like. If you have some information that you can share with me that can be helpful, definitely leave a comment, and I will look into it and do that. But for now, I guess that's enough. I think I just wanted to, touch on this information just a little bit, again, to, like talk about the whole thing about this loose energy as it relates to the multiverse and the devices and stargates and the key integrated monetary system, which is what we really are interested in right now as people on this planet. We want to get the wealth redistributed to the people, as Kim also wants. So we want to do that. But before we can do that, the people must themselves know that they are sovereign beings and they have a role to play. You have a role to play in this. You are not here just to be sitting and waiting for somebody to save you. You are here to be that savior. So with that, I'm going to end this and say, good night, good morning, good afternoon, and salam, peace.
Yeah, family, friends, and foes. activate. Yeah. Squash Eastside. Shade Black. Kiko Bay and Stocks a Million. I said I'm African. I can everything. Many trust was in. What? Everything. That trust. One with everything. Overcome. That means I'm one for all. One for the family. Nothing. That's why I give people transformation.